I'm George W. Bush, and I approve this message. My most solemn duty is to lead our nation to protect ourselves. I can't imagine the great agony of a mom or a dad having to make the decision about which child to pick up first on September the 11th. We cannot hesitate. We cannot yield. We must do everything in our power to bring an enemy to justice before they hurt us again.
I defended this country as a young man, and I will defend it as president. We need a strong military, and we need strong alliances, and then we will be able to tell the terrorists, you will lose and we will win. The future doesn't belong to fear, it belongs to freedom.
The Democratic National Committee is responsible for the content of this advertisement. Millions of good jobs lost to plant closures and outsourcing. Yet President Bush protects tax breaks favoring corporations that move their headquarters overseas. America can do better. John Kerry's plan: end job-killing tax loopholes and provide incentives to companies who create good jobs here. Because John Kerry believes we should export American products, not American jobs. The Democratic National Committee is responsible for the content of this advertisement.
I'm George W. Bush, and I approve this message.
Now Kerry promises.
We won't raise taxes on the middle class.
Really? John Kerry's voted to raise gas taxes on the middle class 10 times. He supported a 50-cent a gallon gas tax increase, higher taxes on middle-class parents 18 times. He voted to raise taxes on Social Security benefits, 98 votes for tax increases. There's what Kerry says, and then there's what Kerry does.
What can a president do about the cost of prescription drugs? John Kerry says allow Medicare to negotiate lower prices with drug companies and permit Americans to buy prescription drugs from Canada. And George Bush's record? He blocked Medicare from negotiating lower prices and banned Americans from buying low-cost drugs from Canada. John Kerry will stand up to the drug companies. It's something a president can and must do. The Democratic National Committee is responsible for the content of this advertisement.
I'm George W. Bush, and I approve this message.
On health care, President Bush and our leaders in Congress have a practical plan. Allow small businesses to join together to get lower insurance rates big companies get. Stop frivolous lawsuits against doctors. Health coverage you can take with you. The liberals in Congress and Kerry's plan, Washington bureaucrats in control. A government-run health care plan, $1.5 trillion price tag. Big government in charge. Not you, not your doctor.
George Bush, $200 billion for Iraq. In America, lost jobs and rising health care costs. George Bush's wrong choices have weakened us here at home. The Kerry Plan. Stop tax incentives for companies that ship jobs overseas. Lower health care premiums by up to $1,000 per family. Reduce the deficit to protect Medicare and Social Security. Stronger at home, respected in the world.
I'm John Kerry, and I approve this message.
I'm George W. Bush, and I approve this message.
John Kerry promises.
I will immediately reform the intelligence system.
Oh, really? As a member of the Intelligence Committee, Senator Kerry was absent for 76% of the committee's hearings. In the year after the first terrorist attack on the World Trade Center, Kerry was absent for every single one. That same year, he proposed slashing America's intelligence budget by $6 billion. There's what Kerry says, and then there's what Kerry does. President Bush and our leaders in Congress have a plan.
Strengthen our economy.
Lifelong learning.
Invest in education.
New skills for better jobs.
A fairer, simpler tax code.
Reduce dependence on foreign energy.
Freer, fairer trade.
Incentives to create jobs.
Comp and flex time for working families.
Strengthen Social Security.
Legal reform.
Permanent tax relief.
Learn more
at agendaforamerica.com.
I'm George W. Bush, and I approve this message.
As a fighter pilot, I saw my share of combat. As Chief of Staff, I led the Air Force during the first Gulf War, and 4 years ago, I endorsed George Bush for president. But this year, I'm voting for John Kerry. Nothing is more important to me than protecting America. John Kerry has the strength and common sense we need in a commander-in-chief, and something more, a real strategy to make America safer.
The Democratic National Committee is responsible for the content of this advertisement.